Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we got our King of the Ring retrospective, a history of all the winners from King of the Ring 1985 through 2015. This is going to be my King of the Ring breakdown. Hope you guys enjoy. We're going to just run through all the winners and runners up and things like that. Let's get right into this with 1985 King of the Ring. So, in these early years, King of the Ring was just kind of a special attraction tournament. It was still a tournament, and these were done all in just one day, not on pay per view or anything, of course. The first, I think, five or six, were just house shows pretty much, but they would follow up with the King of the Rings, well, most of them, in storylines and things like that on TV. So let's get into this with 1985's winner, Don Morocco. He defeated the Iron Sheik July 8th, 1985. Nothing real notable from his run. You know, it was probably just a one-off. They never really did anything with him. 1986, Harley Race would win King of the Ring July 14th. He defeated Pedro Morales. Harley Race, they did a lot with him in King of the Ring, and he would run with King of the Ring till about the middle of '88, where he was injured. 1987, the Macho Man Randy Savage would win a tournament here in September of '87, defeating King Kong Bundy. So initially, they never went with the Macho King until 1989. So it's kind of cool that Harley and Savage were somewhat connected in their reigns as king. So 1988, July of '88, Harley Race is injured. Haku was awarded the crown by Bobby Heenan. At the 1989 Royal Rumble, Harley Race had a match against Haku, which Harley Race lost. And then in May of '89, Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeats Haku. And then August 30th, 1989, Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and the Macho King is born. So, almost 2 years prior, Savage had won the King of the Ring tournament. They never really did anything. Savage was the IC champ, or was the IC champ previous to that, and in the summer of, WrestleMania 4, even up until this point in time, he was the WWE champion before this. So this was something else for Savage to do. And, Macho King is so memorable. It was awesome. We had Queen Sherry. And they would run with that till about WrestleMania 7, when they had the retirement match versus Ultimate Warrior. 1988, Ted DiBiase would win the tournament October 16th, 1988, and he would defeat Macho Man Randy Savage. So Savage was, the defending King of the Ring. He lost the tournament to the next guy, which I thought that was cool to find out. Savage made it to the finals. He's the first one to do that. And the first, we got 4 shows in a row here that are all in Providence, Rhode Island. So that was also cool to see that a little bit of continuity throughout the King of the Ring. I know with WCW and back in the NWA days, they would hold their pay-per-views in the same buildings year after year. Look at like Halloween Havoc, Starrcade was in DC for a few years. Baltimore, we had Great American Bash. They always had their hot spots, whether it was Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago. Ted DiBiase never really did anything with the King of the Ring. 1989, Tito Santana would defeat Rick Martel. This was after the breakup of Strikeforce, October 14th, 1989. Again, DiBiase and Tito, they never really did much with the King of the Ring tournaments. 1991, for whatever reason, they didn't do one in 90. Bret the Hitman Hart actually wins the King of the Ring tournament in 91. September 7th, 1991. He defeats IRS, and there's no tournament in 92, but in 93 they would officially broadcast King of the Ring on pay-per-view for the first time. Bret the Hitman Hart, this show was built around Bret Hart, and similar to these other shows, this was a tournament all in the same night, and they would do that for several years, up until I think, 2001 or 2000, something like that. But that was June 13th, 93. He would defeat Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect, and Bam Bam Bigelow. Bret Hart is probably one of the more memorable King of the Rings. Like I said, this show was built around him. Then we had the debut of Jerry the King Lawler. So 93 was a big show, and this would be the June pay-per-view for the next decade. 1994, Owen Hart repeats what his brother did the year prior. This would be June 19th, 94. He defeats Razor Ramon in the finals, and this is where the King of Hearts was born. So in the early years of King of the Ring, they were really big on guys wearing the crown and the cape and things like that. And, we would see it for a few years. Some of the guys did it, some didn't. I guess it just depends who it was. But the King of Hearts, Owen Hart, was awesome. This is also the first time he would challenge Brad at SummerSlam in 94. So I always thought the King of the Ring winner should get a title shot at SummerSlam. One of the subscribers also mentioned that it just seems like a Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, King of the Ring to SummerSlam type feel. They kind of fit together. They would do that a few times. It wasn't an every year kind of deal where it should have been. 95, recognized as one of the worst pay-per-views of all time. King Mabel, June 25th, defeats Savio Vega in the finals. 1996, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Jake the Snake Roberts, June 23rd. This was, again, one of the more memorable King of the Rings. Austin 316 was born that day. And, who knows how things would be different. I did mention this in my favorites video. If Triple H, the alleged winner, was supposed to go over in 96. The whole curtain call happened, and then Austin just gets kind of shoehorned in there, and Austin 316 was born. It's crazy how that all worked out. 97, Triple H wins, and he defeats Mankind June 8th. 1998, again, not the best one, but Ken Shamrock wins, defeating The Rock in the finals, June 28th. I like that match between Shamrock and The Rock. They had a great feud throughout 98, and Shamrock finally gets his win here, but he doesn't get the IC title like he should have at Mania or even at the Rumble. I feel like they lost a bit of steam here with Shamrock, but again, they didn't really push him as a king or nothing like that, but Shamrock was pretty dominant. 1999, again, one of the more not so good King of the Rings. Billy Gunn defeats X-Pac June 27th of 99. He had a fairly decent tournament here. I believe he fought X-Pac. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you who else, and I just watched this recently. I think he defeated Kane, X-Pac, and Hardcore Holly or something like that. I can't remember. 2000, Kurt Angle, King Kurt. June 25th defeats Rikishi. This is one of the better King of the Rings tournaments, I think. Kurt Angle was pushed like a super fan or a super wrestler here, and I think this really fit Kurt Angle. The tournament thing with being an Olympian, and Kurt Angle going the distance, the rookie. 2001, Edge. Kurt Angle would wear the crown and whatnot for a little while, but they quickly dropped it. And Kurt Angle did get a title shot at SummerSlam, but it wasn't because he won King of the Ring. It's because he won a number one contenders match on Raw. 2001, Edge would be the King of the Ring, defeating Kurt Angle in the finals. So Angle would be the second man to make it to the finals after the Macho Man. This was a pretty good tournament as well. This was June 24th, and that's my favorite King of the Ring is 2001. Of course, we had the whole Shane McMahon getting involved in several matches. 2002, Brock Lesnar would defeat RVD June 23rd. And in 2002, it was official. The winner does get a title shot at SummerSlam. So they were heavily pushing Lesnar here. Lesnar got the title shot against The Rock at SummerSlam. So that was Brock Lesnar becoming the youngest WWE champion in history. And then the King of the Ring went away. It was rumored we would have a King of the Ring in 2003. We didn't see it for 4 years until 2006. They brought it back, a part of Judgment Day in 2006, where we had Bobby Lashley versus Booker T. King Booker would be born here. And also, the winner got a world title shot as well. So they did, keep that up to point, I guess. King Booker was awesome. And he did become the World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown, ending Rey Mysterio's run after WrestleMania 22. We wouldn't see the King of the Ring again for another 2 years. 2008, it returned, I guess, as a one-night tournament on Raw. April 21st, 2008, William Regal defeats CM Punk. I love this this thing they did here, but the match only goes about 4 minutes, and then Regal is going to be released a few weeks or a week later. So it kind of sucks what happened here. William Regal was hot. He was white hot here. He was the heel GM. I believe he was even the IC champion at one point. And then he wins King of the Ring. William Regal was pulling some dirty tactics, always shutting the lights off and things like that during Raw. And sadly, he got released. He had a lot of problems around this time. And again, we wouldn't see the King of the Ring for another 2 years. 2010, November 29th, Sheamus defeats John Morrison. I don't think these guys ever had a good match together. Sheamus is probably one of the worst King of the Ring winners. Sheamus, Lesnar, and Edge are the only 3 men to win all 3 Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, and King of the Ring. So those are notable accomplishments. Sadly, Sheamus is probably the weakest of all 3. And in 2015, Bad News Barrett would defeat Neville. April 28th, 2015. I thought the King of the Ring 2015 was a decent tournament. I think they did that over a couple of weeks, and that was on Raw. They did run with King Barrett for a while. They put him with the League of Nations and things like that. I don't think Barrett was as strong as a King of the Ring as he could have been, but I did enjoy King Barrett for what it was. Some of my favorite King of the Rings are probably Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, Lesnar, Angle. Um, I just wish Regal would have smartened up a bit. This guy was getting a huge push, and he kind of just blew it all away because I was actually quite interested in that. You know, King of the Ring in 2006 was kind of just sprouted out of nowhere, and after a 4 year absence, it was cool to see again. Um, so let me know your thoughts on King of the Ring. Hope I educated you guys a little bit today. Comment down below some of your favorite winners from King of the Ring. Stay tuned because I will be ranking all the King of the Ring winners from worst to best. As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.